And welcome back. I have filled up some of this cells with the information. It is nothing fancy. You can just fill it up. You can copy this exactly as I've done it on the screen. It's just calculating some personal expenses, including rent, food, the bus pass, transit expenses, electricity, water, and so on. And then we have to use formulas to calculate the total of each item, and also for each month, January, February, and March. And then we will go on to maximum, minimum, and average later. So there are multiple ways to do it. And as I had mentioned earlier, the easiest way to implement a formula is just to type in the formula. For example, it begins with an equal sign and then a function. The function right here is sum. And there are hundreds of other functions inside of Excel, which I will not cover in this lecture, but throughout the course, we will look at all these functions, okay? So, sum of all the cells. For example, if I want to get a sum of all these three cells into a total, what I can do is just look at the cell number, E6, and this one is G6. So, I will go from E6, and then G6, and then press Enter, and I will get the sum of all that. 1200 plus 500 is 1700. So that's how you do it regularly. There are multiple other ways of doing it as well. So the second way I'm going to show you right now is just going to type equal to sum of, and then you can select this stuff like this. Okay, so it is selecting E6 to G6 just by dragging over the range that you want to, and then press Enter, and it has filled it up. And now I can do the same thing for all these things. I can just go repeatedly, I can just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again to fill all these values up. But instead of doing that, I'm going to implement another feature inside of Microsoft Excel, which is called the Autofill feature. So what you have to do is just bring your cursor to the bottom right edge till it turns into a plus sign, and then just drag it down, and Excel will fill it up for you by implementing a similar range. For example, here it was E6, F6, and G6. Here it will be E7, F7, and G7. Now, if you don't know what it is, just look over here. It says E7 to G7. Over here, it says E8 to G8, and so on. So there are two different ways of doing it now. Three different ways. One is to manually input, input the cell numbers, H6, E6, and so on. Another way is just to type in the formula and then select the range of cells that you want to work it. And the third way is to use autofill. Now this applies in both directions. Now I have done it in the vertical direction. I'm going to do it in the horizontal direction right now. What I'm going to do is equal to sum of, and then select this whole thing. And then press Enter, and I have that. Now I will select this again, and I will just drag it all the way over here, and I've filled it up. Okay, you can see that the total of all totals is 3205. It works that way as well. So this is the actual amount that I spent, in the past 3 months. This one right here. So if you add 3 of this, you will get that. Okay, so that's how you use simple calculation formulas inside using autofill, using simply dragging the cells, and also manually inputting it. Now, autofill is a peculiar feature inside of Microsoft Excel, because if there is something inside in common knowledge, Excel knows it as well. So for example, if you just type it January, and then if you drag the cursor downwards, it will automatically fill up everything up to December, September, October, November, and December. It will fill it up. The same goes for numbers. For example, if I type in 1, and if I drag it down, if I simply drag it down, it will fill it up with a number of 1s. That's not what I want. So if I just type in 1 and then press Control key, while dragging it down, it will create a series of numbers up to 9. Another way you can do it is just to type 1, drag it down, and then there's a small menu over here which gives you the autofill options, and then go into that menu and then fill series, and I will change it to 1 through 9. So that's how autofill works inside of Microsoft Excel. Try all this out and be back for the next video. Thanks for watching, and go ahead.